Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and there is no to back or not to back this week. In fact, I'm not entirely sure what the next 6 weeks look like either, primarily as far as to back or not to back goes, but also as far as the videos on the channel in general. And to be clear, it might be 98% business as usual, but I'm allowing myself some room to just not know, and that's what this video is right here. This video is going to be divided up into two parts. First of all, what's going on in the next 6 weeks, why all this, uncertainty that's likely going to be just business as usual anyway, and the second half is I'm going to have a recommendation or recommendations for 15 various YouTubers that you can get various crowdfunding related news from. You might be familiar with some of these, most of these, all of these, but in case you aren't, I will have 15 YouTubers that I'll be recommending to get a variety of types of crowdfunding content and coverage from, because I might not be here for some things. Again, I'm probably being vastly dramatic. Today there's definitely not to back or not to back. Over the next several weeks, there will definitely be another few missed, but I don't know to what frequency. It is genuinely possible that there is not a single to back or not to back for the next 6 weeks. That is a possibility. It is an unlikely possibility, but it is a possibility. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about my life structure as well as the next 6 weeks and why that is the way it is. And then again, that second half where I recommend a bunch of content creators. Timestamps to everything down below. Basically, right now, well, not right now, but today I'm back from Origins Game Fair as of right now when you're watching this video. But yesterday was Sunday, and I had a blast at Origins Game Fair. Hopefully I had a blast. Origins hasn't even started yet. I'm doing this video in advance, but hopefully I had a blast yesterday at Origins Game Fair. The problem is, generally speaking, when there's a convention that goes to Sunday, where they almost always do, that means that I can't do all that to back or not to back stuff that I do. I do that all on Sunday. That's my Sunday job, so to speak, because it's a lot of work researching all these crowdfunding campaigns, and it takes up a good chunk of my day. And the reason to back or not to back has always been on Monday for me is so that I could do all that work on Sunday. I have other responsibilities. I have this entire YouTube channel, I have GameFound, I have family, I have all these things that I need to do that take up time, effort. Oh, and I like fun. I do like fun as well. And so I do find that if I'm going to spend 6 to 8 hours researching crowdfunding campaigns, it kind of has to be on Sunday. But that does mean that when there is a convention that goes to Sunday, as they usually do, I usually skip to back or not to back that week. And that happens here and there. This is a regular thing that happens throughout the year. It's just the sheer number of conventions over the next 6 weeks that have me putting this video and kind of update on it. Because basically, we have Origins Game Fair. Like I said, I just got back from that. I had a blast, I think, maybe, you don't know. Then from there, there's going to be Dice Tower East that I'll be at. That's going to be another convention pretty soon. Then there's CharCon right after that. And then there's Gen Con right after that. The dates of these, I don't remember them offhand, but Dice Tower East is like July 2nd to 7th. CharCon is like July 9th through like 11th or 7th through 11th, something like that. And then Gen Con is at the end of the month again at July like 29th or something like that till August 1st. Again, some vague dates, somewhere in that range. But that means that from now, whenever this video is, so I guess this video is probably the 22nd, I think. Does that make sense? Sounds like right. June 22nd till August 1st, there's 6 conventions for me in that time frame. Which means to back or not to back might not happen for those 4 weeks that I'm gone on those Sundays, but even the intermediate weeks, I'm going to be trying to squeeze my life into a shorter time frame because of all that convention travel. Also, did I mention that the kids will be off school the kids will be between school and camp in this period as well, which is even more responsibilities and things that will take up my time and attention. The end result of this is that, as of right now, there will 100% be some degree of missing to back or not to back videos. There might be other videos in their place, like there is today. There might be. I might choose not to in some cases. I might choose to, just take a day off and give myself those hours back. And to be clear, doing a video like this, like the one I'm doing now, between research, putting it together, all the entire thing, maybe is 90 minutes to 2 hours of time. Versus to back or not to back, between the research, filming, timestamping, all of it, is usually closer to 6 to 10 hours, depending on the week. So doing a different video still saves me a massive amount of time. So if you see me doing a different video, don't be like, oh my gosh, you're not giving yourself any chance to breathe. No, not doing to back or not to back is already giving myself a chance to breathe. Whether or not I replace with a different video, that we'll see and we'll play by ear. Additionally, because of the fact that the next 6 weeks, again, has this kind of schedule, and because of the fact that in that time frame, I'm still trying to do everything I need to do. I'm still trying to maintain my life, do all my GameFound responsibilities, play games and film videos. I might choose to do fewer videos here or there. This, I think, is far less likely. Here's the orders of magnitude and guarantee. There will 100% be missing 2-back or not-to-back videos over the next 6 weeks. There's a 75% chance that I choose to abandon doing 2-back or not-to-backs for the next 6 weeks and just say, hey, it is what it is. I can't do it all. And as much as I want to do it all, as much as there's a part of me that always wants to be on every single ball that I'm trying to be on, I also have to acknowledge that there's a point where I might push myself to a point of burnout. And so I have to wrestle with my desire to always do everything and get the job done, with the recognition that burnout is something that I probably should stay a little bit away from. And so we'll see. So there's a 75% chance that I don't do any 2-back not-to-backs until Gen Con's over, and then I come back and pick up the series again, and everything else will be business as usual. That's, I'd say, 75% chance. There's a 50% chance, maybe, that a few other videos here or there I choose to drop. Whatever those videos might be, maybe a handful of videos here and there. On average, right now, on average, I do 15 videos a week. That's how many videos go up every week on the channel. Maybe I drop it down to an average of 12 videos a week over the next, 6 weeks. I say there's a 50% chance that happens. You might see some missing videos here and there as I just give myself that extra room to breathe. And then there's like a 5% chance that I drastically cut it off and you see like 7 videos a week. That's like, I don't think that's going to happen at all, but hey, who knows? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. It depends on how crazy things get, and it depends on how many balls I find myself juggling and how well I find myself juggling those things. We shall see. I don't think I've ever had this many conventions. 4 conventions in like a 6-week period. I don't think I've ever done that. Usually it's like, oh my gosh, I'm traveling twice in a 4-week period. That feels like a lot. 4 times in 6 weeks, it feels like the most I've ever done. I think the only time I've been this stressed was when I was literally moving while trying to do everything I was doing, and honestly, that is the closest I've ever come to burnout on this channel. So I'm trying to stay far away from that line because I love what I do and I want to keep on loving what I do forever. So that's kind of the situation. With that, part 2 of the video. Welcome to 15 content creators to keep you busy and occupied. Many of these you know, many of these you don't know. Well, I don't know if that's true. Depending on who you are, you know some amount of these. Anywhere between 0 to 15 of these content creators, I guarantee you that is definitely true. But because I won't be doing 2-back not-to-back, or at least some 2-back not-to-backs, possibly all 2-back not-to-backs over the next 6 weeks, I figure I'll just do a quick roundup of people you can go ahead and tune into to get a variety of different types of crowdfunding content. I figure this is a good opportunity. It's not that I need to give this, but like, hey, if you don't know some of these creators, it's always a good opportunity to be able to shout out and promote other creators in the space. And so, coming in at number 15, we have... I do think I'm about to. Weekly Game Night. Weekly Game Night is number 15 over here. I did order these from least to most subscribers. That way, if you tune out earlier in the video, at least you got to the ones who have fewer subscribers first. But Weekly Game Night coming in with 3,500 subscribers. He's primarily over on Instagram, but some of his content on YouTube is absolutely top notch. He does a mix of content, but I'd say primarily you're looking at preview and gameplay content, the occasional how to play for a lot of crowdfunding games. If you're looking for highly well-produced content on crowdfunding games, Weekly Game Night, Adam has you covered. Then we have over here Kovray. Kovray with 7,500 subscribers, closing on 8. Kovray, they're Tyler and Ilya, a couple that loves to play board games together. But they do a variety of content. Their previews generally top notch. They do a lot of other content that's not crowdfunding. In this video, I am focusing on the types of crowdfunding content these people are doing though. But in particular, I think their how to plays, when they do how to plays, some of the shortest, most condensed, well-edited how to plays, they do fantastic. Like, they're not like giving like a full-on in-depth, but they manage to give you a very good overview of a game that really does an excellent job. Why is my watch dinging? That should not ding. Anyways, they do a great overview of the game that I think they do an excellent job, a fantastic job. And then they also do previews as well. I don't think they do gameplays, or at least if they have, I haven't seen a lot of them. But again, how to plays and previews generally do a great job. The how to plays are where I am most impressed. We have BoardGameBuzz, 7,500 subscribers again. Oh, did I do that out of order? Oh, technically, BoardGameBuzz should be before Kovray, technically. BoardGameBuzz, 7,500 subscribers. Carly does, again, more focused on Instagram in general, but her YouTube content as well is top-notch, and she does primarily, I'd say, reviews. So she does a lot of reviews. She does, like, other things, too, like playthroughs or whatever, but the crowdfunding content that I'm recommending in this case is her review content. There are only a handful of people on this list who do review content for crowdfunding, and Carly is one of them. So if you're looking for actual impressions and thoughts, previews as well, but I do find that there are actual thoughts and opinions around some of the games she covers. So if you want to check that out, there's previews, there's reviews, and that kind of stuff for crowdfunding. This Game Brigade. Game Brigade does the Should You Back It videos. Again, other content as well, but I'd say that in particular, if you're looking for something unique, Should You Back videos, something that I did once upon a time on the channel, and now they only infrequently show up, are very specifically covering a specific crowdfunding campaign and going over that specific campaign. Should you back this game? Why or why not? Really doing a deep dive on individual campaigns. I love doing them back in the day. I found myself too overwhelmed with different types of things that I finally, they get bundled up into to back and not to back. Every once in a while I do one on the channel, but if you haven't been following Brian, he does those on a regular basis, so you can check out his content there, as well as other roundup crowdfunding content. Then there's Liege of Games. Liege of Games does roundup crowdfunding content, so not really dedicated content as much, or at least infrequently, although he does also do reviews. I mentioned reviews. He does do board game reviews on crowdfunding, but he does a lot of crowdfunding content as well. He always impressed me. Chris always impressed me in the sense that he came onto the board game scene, and he kind of said, hey, I want to do what these other channels are doing, and then he just started doing it, and it's very impressive, like the way he went from I just want to do it to then doing it and making it happen. So he's done incredibly well over the past several years, and he just does regular roundup content on crowdfunding. Then we have Room and Board with 17,000 subscribers as well. Chris is my least favorite person on this list, obviously. Okay, I shouldn't do that. You never know who's new to the channel. I like to dig at Chris. Chris likes to dig at me. I like Chris. I think Chris is a wonderful human being. But Chris does roundup content on Crowdfunding Countdown. He covers crowdfunding campaigns in the last week or two. And then he also does 5 reasons you shouldn't back. Insert giant campaign that crossed $1 million here. Those are always fun to watch. Highly recommend them. He just did one for Agricola. 7,500 views on 5 reasons you shouldn't back Agricola. It's a great series. I think it's always worth watching. He also does the occasional review. Those are less frequent, I would say, but they do show up here and there. But definitely recommend checking out Room and Board. If you are looking for someone who recommends that you spend less money and is not impressed by the expensive games, he's your man. We have Foster the Meeple. 25,000 subscribers. They do a lot of content as far as crowdfunding. I would say most frequently you're looking at preview content, but they do a variety of other things as well. But preview content around crowdfunding games, generally they do their pumped up Kickstarter previews. And if you're looking for entertaining, to the point, and generally well done, they've got you covered. Then we have the King of Average, probably one of the OGs in the covering crowdfunding space, if not the OG. Like he's someone I watched before I ever started doing videos, and I watched a ton of his stuff all the time. He used to do an absolute ton. He does a little less than he used to back then, but he still puts out regular videos on the state of the industry, the state of crowdfunding roundups. So if you're looking for any sort of coverage on crowdfunding games, unboxing of giant miniature games, reviews of giant miniature games, he's another one who does review content around crowdfunding, or just generally what's on crowdfunding, covering the various highs and lows, or the industry in general, he's got you covered, and I highly recommend checking out Michael's work. We have the Board Game Garden. Board Game Garden, Jenna over here on the Board Game Garden does fantastic videos, highly produced preview videos, great B-roll, great coverage of the games themselves, as well as gameplay. She does a lot of solo gameplays, so if you want to check out any of those kinds of things, either previews or solo gameplays around a lot of crowdfunding games, Jenna very much has you covered with beautiful, calming, peaceful videos. We have Meeple University. Stella does fantastic. Stella and Tarrant do fantastic how to play videos, so they're one of the better how to play videos as far that I would recommend. How to play content creators I'd recommend as far as crowdfunding campaigns. If you're looking for a wide variety of crowdfunding campaigns covered from Stella and Tarrant over here, they do generally just really, really well done, clear, concise, a good blend of not too long, not too short, covering all the things you need to do while being entertaining, and there's always a costume involved. Check out Stella University. Check out Meeple University. We have Shelfside. Shelfside does reviews, and they are fascinating. They're the only one sort of who does, they do, what's it called? Sponsored reviews, which I would be critical of. Like, if you're someone who's critical, like, you can't do a sponsored review. If it's sponsored, it's not a review. I hear you. I genuinely do. I share that opinion. And yet I would say that Shelfside has managed to do that. They've managed to be the exception to the rule for me. Not necessarily for you. You might hate it. But they do sponsored coverage. but then they really go into the games. They don't, like, I don't detect an obvious bias from their coverage, in the sense that it's not a company thing, it's not a game type thing. They are willing to sit there and say, this game is not good enough, not where it needs to be, after having cashed a check. And then they're also willing to say, this is the best game of this type I've ever played, even when you might have thought that they didn't like that company or that genre. They really do an excellent job diving into things. I don't always share the same opinion as them. There have been times I've loved games they've hated, there have been times they've loved games that I was not as into. I don't always agree with their opinion, but the point is more that they have managed to do an excellent job breaking down games to a level and extent that most other people don't, and a big part of that is they're able to justify that because they're doing sponsored content, so they can justify the sheer amount of time and presentation and research that they put into things, and they do so while managing to shed, at least for myself, the appearance of any bias. They do a fantastic job. Definitely recommend checking them out if you want critical, well-done crowdfunding coverage. We have the Brothers Murph. The Brothers Murph, they do a variety of things, but their overviews on how to play a game on crowdfunding I find are incredibly well done, and their gameplays, with that overview in the beginning, one of the better gameplay channels in the space as far as their crowdfunding gameplay content. So if you want to check out an entertaining set of people who are playing a game and doing so while being very well edited, very concise and clear, as well as with a good overview of how to play the game, definitely check out the Brothers Murph. Man vs. Meeple. Man vs. Meeple does a lot of preview content. Every once in a while they go back to their crowdfunding coverage where they cover a bunch of crowdfunding. I like those videos. They are not consistent with them though, but definitely check them out for a variety of how to plays, let's plays, gameplays, previews, all of that. I don't think they do how to plays. I take that back. Previews and gameplays primarily, as well as an occasional fun thing like a little chat roundup. But Man vs. Meeple does a lot of coverage of crowdfunding games that you should definitely check out. And then we have Before You Play. Before You Play does playthroughs primarily. So if you want to see playthroughs, again, just like the Brothers Murph, but well, different. They're not just like the Brothers Murph. They're different than the Brothers Murph. But Before You Play, definitely check out Monique and Naveen for a variety of gameplays, and a lot of those are around up and coming crowdfunding games and all that. So if you're looking for crowdfunding gameplay coverage, they definitely have you covered on some of those. Just again, well produced, clear how to plays that are structured as a actual playthrough that really do a great job showcasing the game. The occasional preview, but I'm calling them out more for their how to plays. And then lastly, not how to plays, for their gameplays. And then lastly, we have the Dice Tower. Dice Tower does a ton of content, but they cover weekly crowdfunding every single week with their, well, not every week, but most weeks that they're not traveling or whatnot. They go ahead and do their crowdfunding. Oh my gosh, the crowd surfing. They do their crowd surfing segment where they go over all the crowdfunding campaigns. I believe they do it every single Wednesday, but definitely check that out, because again, if you're looking for like people who cover all the campaigns, the thing I do on Two Back and Not To Back, primarily from all the people I covered today, Liege of Games and crowdsurfing are going to be your most reliable coverage of all the crowdfunding campaigns out there if you're looking for that specific replacement for Two Back or Not To Back. And that's it. That is my 15 content creator highlights, as well as my general explanation of where I will and won't be, and what I will and won't be doing over these next 6 weeks. Again, I have no idea how it's actually going to play out. I'm just figuring it all out and just trying to make sure I don't push myself too much, because I feel loosely that might be a bit too unhealthy. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.